Birds are a highly successful group of vertebrate animals, with over 11,000 species living today. They evolved from a group of theropod dinosaurs called Sinornis during the Jurassic period and are represented by the famous Archaeopteryx from Germany. The evolution of birds continued during the Early Cretaceous period. Many fossil specimens of early birds have been discovered in the Liaoning region of China. Most of them were primitive forms that were evolutionary dead ends rather than the ancestors of modern birds. Many species still had more dinosaurian features such as sharp teeth and bony tails. Sinornis, meaning Chinese bird, was the first fossil specimen from Liaoning that reached Western scientists and revealed the wealth of fossil remains from this location. It was the size of a sparrow and resembled a modern bird in appearance, including having flight structures, but it still had teeth instead of a beak, a more primitive arrangement of hip bones, and fingers on its wings like the Jurassic Archaeopteryx. However, its feet were capable of perching on branches and its tail fanned out from a pygostyle like a modern bird. Sinornis was just as capable of sustained and maneuverable flight as modern birds. The wrist joints were very flexible, allowing the wing to twist during flight, and it allowed the wings to held flush against the body while resting. Confuciusornis, meaning Confucius bird, was more similar to modern birds in some ways, including having a toothless beak instead of a toothed jaw like most early birds. It also had a modern type of wing structure. Confuciusornis is known from several fossil specimens, which indicate it was a common animal in its environment. It is possible that it lived in large flocks which gathered around the edges of lakes. The tail of the species had a short pygostyle, but the males had a pair of very long tail feathers. Females appear to have been smaller in size and lacking this feature. Confuciusornis still had wing fingers, and it only had a claw on the thumb and middle finger. The index finger was clawless and it was adapted to carry the wing feathers, as it was made up of broad flat bones. A fossil specimen discovered in 2006 had the remains of fish inside its throat, which indicates this species was piscivorous. Changchengornis, meaning bird from the Great Wall of China, was another early bird that may have been very rare as it is only known from one fossil specimen. The structure of its tail indicate it was maneuverable, enabling it to hunt insects on the wing like a modern swallow. Changchengornis had two long display feathers on its tail, but it is uncertain if this feature was only found on male of the species. Its toe bones were more curved than in other related early birds, which suggest it was more capable of perching on tree branches. Liaoxiornis, meaning bird of the distant west, is one of the smallest known early birds. It is known from a complete specimen whose maturity has been debated by paleontologists, as its skull has some juvenile characteristics. The skull of Liaoxiornis was tall and short, with large eye sockets. It still had small teeth in its jaws. The neck and tail were long, although it had the pygostyle which made up 3/4 of its body length. The finger bones were fused and lacked claws, which is a more derived feature. However, its leg bones were more primitive and similar to those of modern crows.